Hello, it's Greg McIntyre with McIntyre Elder Law, helping seniors protect their assets and legacies. And we're here for the Elder Law Report. I was going to take Friday off. I was going to take today off. However, I woke up this morning. I was going to meet some friends at the Waffle House at 7 o'clock. Some other business people in town, and we have breakfast every once in a while. And really got inspired by them. They were ready to do today, and I had worn a suit anyway. Plus, I had not filmed the Elder Law Report. Tried to get to it this week, but we were slammed and didn't pre-film it. So just wanted to go ahead and film it this morning so we could get it up at 10 o'clock on Facebook. And we're talking today. It's our third show in our six-part educational series. Today is about trust. We're going to talk about trust. Trust as opposed to wills and probate, because we talked about probate, wills and probate, and then avoiding probate the last two episodes. So we're going to talk about trust. Why you may need a trust, different types of trust. Trust are not for everyone. So let's go to the board, okay? Let's go to the board and look at it for a little bit. So at the top, we'll just put trust. Okay? So what different types of trust are trust? What different types of trust are there? Let's get a little thicker. There you go. There are revocable trust, and there are irrevocable trust. So there are many different names of trust out there. Insurance, life insurance trust, Medicaid asset protection trust, Veterans asset protection trust, family trust, revocable living trust, testamentary trust. So those are some that we will go over, okay? So we'll go over revocable, irrevocable. And within those, we'll talk about a revocable living trust, okay? We'll talk about a Medicaid asset protection trust. So RLT for revocable living trust, MAPT for Medicaid asset protection trust. We'll talk about a Veterans asset protection trust. And those are the one, and we'll talk about a little bit different one, and that'll be a testamentary trust. But before we get in the weeds with the different types of trust, let's talk about why you might need a trust. Taylor, why would someone need a trust?
To pass.
Thanks for filming this morning, Taylor.
You're welcome. To pass property or money, or to help a child, pay for a child's education or well-being.
Okay. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Taylor said to pass money or property or help a child go to school. True. However, can't you do that with a will?
You can.
Can't you just pass money and property with a will?
Mm-hmm.
Why might a trust be advantageous?
Depending on the type of trust, it would avoid probate.
All trusts avoid probate
Oh.
that are in effect when you pass away. A trust can be created in the probate process. And which trust is that?
Or testamentary.
Testamentary trust, right? Your last will and testament. So in your last will and testament, you can say that either, you know what, Taylor, I'm going to give you my Apple Pencil. Okay?
Thank you, Greg.
When I die, I'm going to give you my Apple Pencil, okay?
How lucky am I?
There is this weird video that my kids play all the time. By the way, we need to play it on here.
Okay, we'll play it.
It goes, I have a pen, I have an apple.
Pineapple, I know that
What
song.
do I have? Apple pen.
It's a
I have a pen, I have pineapple.
Yes.
Pineapple pen.
What is this? The Asian guy.
Yes, but it's funny. It's almost mesmerizing to watch. Go on YouTube and Google what?
Probably apple pen.
Apple pen or pineapple pen, and watch this video. My kids are watching it and dying laughing last night. And I found, it's not the first time it's been played in my house. I'll just say that. So anyway, you made me think of that video.
You're welcome.
We're gonna edit that video into this, okay? I don't know if we can do that. There might be copyright infringement. Yeah, anyway, you'll just
we
have
can
to
add the
trust me.
link.
Just Google it, okay? Anyway, it'll be worth a laugh. So when I pass away, I'm giving you my Apple Pen free of trust. That means what? I'm just giving it to you, right? But I could leave my children, okay? Or my grandchildren. X amount of dollars. I could put $50,000 in each trust if I had it, right? And I could say, that money is going to be held in trust for these grandchildren individually. So I'm going to set up separate trusts for the grandchildren to pay for their health, education, and welfare. I'm going to state in there how important it is that my children go to college. And I'm going to name the trustee. The trustee might be the same person I name as the executor of my will. Now, a trustee is similar to an executor, but trusts aren't governed by the court after they're set up, unless somebody sued the trust, right? Or sued to remove a trustee or something. Or a creditor sued the trust. So, I'm going to have that held in a discretionary fashion, so the trustee is going to have discretion under certain rules to distribute that money. Let's say when that grandchild turns 18, I want to be able to pay for that, for tuition, books, housing, food, things associated with my grandchild going to college, because I want them to go to college. I might want my house sold and that money put in trust for my grandchildren to go to college. That might be what I direct when I die. And that can be placed right within the will. Let's say at 25, I want to cap it. I want to say, I'm going to stop those payments at 25. I could say I want to stop those payments at 30, because I might want to, it could take a while for a child to go be a doctor or, go to grad school, things like that. And then after that, for the next 5 to 10 years, I'm going to distribute out the principal. So I'm going to take the principal out of that trust and distribute it out over the next 5 years, say 20% a year, until it's all gone. And that's a great example of how any trust can be set up. A living trust or a testamentary trust can be written in your will and could function excellently to well into the future, okay? Another thing I might want is I might have some farmland. I thought of some other trusts, okay, that I want to put up there. Also, we're going to hit, and then we draft a good amount of these, special needs trust, or SNTs, okay? So we'll talk about special needs trust as well. Every will that we draft has a special needs trust built in. I'm charging my Apple pen. So, you have a pen? You have pineapple. What do you have? Apple pen. So, you can have a special needs trust. You can create one while you're alive, or you could create one in your will. Every will we draft has a special needs trust built in. It's Article 5. It's a large portion of the will. The reason we have that option is we want, what if the person you're giving money to or property to is a special needs individual, draws disability, SSI, which comes with Medicaid to pay for extended health care needs potentially. And when you give them this gift, that's great. They love that, right? However, it's going to kick offline this check they get every month from SSI and their health care they need. And it took them 2 years to get it, right? It can take a long time to get it, for instance. Well, that's a blessing and a curse. So what else could happen to that money? Well, we want to give the option for that money to be placed in a special needs trust, and a trustee preside over that money to still buy things for that person, take care of that person. And that's what our wills allow for. That's another example of a testamentary trust. Special needs trust can also be set up while someone is alive to place money there, okay? Or sometimes if someone gets a personal injury recovery, something like that, then that money can be placed in a special needs trust to still buy things for that person, provide for that person's needs, and not affect a disability benefit that they're on, or a Medicaid benefit they're on. So special needs trusts are excellent for that type of planning. Revocable living trust, I think, is the most common type of trust that people think about. Now, revocable. Why is it called a revocable living trust, Taylor?
Because you can still revoke anything that's in the trust. You still have power.
Yeah, usually the grantor, the person that sets it up, is also the trustee, which means you can put things in the trust, you can take things out of them, so you're still deemed to be in control of it. Now, a lot of what we deal with in elder law is planning for long-term care situations or thinking about what would happen. So would a revocable living trust be helpful in shielding assets or protecting assets from a 5-year look-back period from Medicaid to pay for long-term care? No. Why?
Because you still have access to all your assets.
Because you still have control of all your assets. So even though this might give some liability protection from creditors, things of that nature, separate you from your money a bit, it still flows through taxation because it's generally going to use your Social Security number, so it's no separate tax return for the trust. Trust can have will have a higher tax rate if they're set up with a separate tax ID number. So this would allow it to stay under your tax ID number, and it would allow you to avoid probate. Those are two big things. And it allows you to control your property well into the future. You might have farmland that you want to keep in the family and keep as farmland, or a vacation house that you want to stay for the family to use for generations. Trusts are good for things like that, for not one-off distributions like a will or a beneficiary designation, but to control property. My professor in law school used to say dead hand control, kind of a hand sticking up from the grave with a remote control property and money, well into the future. So that's what a revocable living trust is. If you had long-term care insurance, if you had plenty of money, then a revocable living trust might be for you. And it's a case-by-case basis. Plus, someone might say, I've got tons of money. I've got $1 million, but $800,000-900,000 of it is in IRAs, individual retirement accounts, 401ks, or qualified annuities. Why is that not a good candidate for a revocable living trust?
Because still, if you had to go into long-term care or anything, it would still be...
Because IRAs, 401ks, tax-qualified funds where income taxes haven't been paid yet, they won't go into trust. You can't place them there. So that's not a good place to put IRAs or 401ks. So still not a good candidate, okay? So many people think they need trust, and they don't. Some people don't think they need a trust, and they do. But it's a case-by-case basis, certainly worth having that discussion when you're talking about planning as you age, and sit down with an estate planning or elder law attorney to have that discussion. We draft a lot of trusts. We draft Medicaid Asset Protection Trust and Veterans Asset Protection Trust. I will show you how both of them similarly work. They are both irrevocable trusts, right? Irrevocable means what, Taylor?
You appoint a trustee to handle everything for you that's inside the trust.
You appoint a third-party trustee. It could be a company. It could be a child. It could be a trusted family member, right? And that's going to allow, and it's going to be a separate tax ID number, okay? Everything with trust is going to pass outside of probate, by the way, okay? Everything's going to avoid probate here. But this irrevocable trust, when you place money there in a Veterans Asset Protection Trust or Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, is going to start the look-back period on the benefit, okay? Either one of these you used. Although VA for pension benefits, for veterans aid attendants, pension benefits right now, under the rules, there is no look-back period for money transfers. But this is a great place to place money to qualify people for the veteran's benefit and still have that set aside for that person and for future generations. Same with the Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. Starts the clock ticking on that benefit. Stocks, bonds, securities can be held in trust, still invested, still grow the money. So in this one, we have some money in there. We have some homes, right, in that trust, okay? And still the spigot is there so that the trustee can pull up with a beneficiary. The trustee can give the beneficiary, it could be the same person, money, and then that money could be used to supplement, to buy things for the person in need. But it still would be that person, the trustee or the beneficiary's money, okay, when they pulled it out. So after the look-back period has passed, for the money that was put in there, say, for nursing home Medicaid 5 years ago, this locks, okay? So that's an illustration of how a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust works. It's really the best safe that you can put your money in legally, and a great option for doing planning, asset protection and preservation planning. So anytime someone needs to talk to us about any of these types of trust or situations, I draft a lot of trust, we draft a lot of trust here, don't we, Steph?
We do.
So you can call us at 704-259-7040, okay? So give us a call and we will set up a consult, and I'd be glad to meet and talk to you about estate planning and trust planning. And that's a quick overview of trust without drilling down too far into the weeds, but be glad to explore those options and many, many more with you and help you with whatever you need. I'm Greg McIntyre, McIntyre Elder Law, and this has been the Elder Law Report. Thank you very much. Tune in next Friday at 10 a.m. where we will discuss another important topic. Part 4. What's part 4, Taylor?
Ladybird deeds.
Ladybird deeds. So next week we're going to be talking about ladybird deeds specifically. Thank you. See you next week.